out red velvet cake.
Para todos nosotros.
Yeah, for you and me and everyone who drives an SUV.
No juzgamiento here. Los dos tenemos uno.
Both eat red velvet cookies.
Tenemos un montón de hijos.
Let's stay on topic, ADD Espanol boy. The show is about red.
Es lo que hablamos de lo que es verde.
For your wallet.
Y el
Dinero.
no, environment.
It don't count.
Porque la última vez que chequeamos nosotros, los dos son verdes.
Alright, so welcome to this week's show.
Alright, it's Cinco de Mayo.
Cinco de Mayo. The day when we lost all that mayonnaise on that ship.
Yeah, there were 5 of them. 5 ships.
So you gotta tell everybody where we are? What we're doing?
We are at Ruby Snap. Ruby Snap!
Ruby Snap.
These guys are a riot. They're friends of Got Beauty.
Yep.
And so I know them through Tammy Taylor on the whole social network thing, and that's how I found out about them. And these cookies rock.
They're very good.
They're very good. And this place is way cool, so we wanted to come down and do an episode.
This place is like, it's like the 40s and 50s in here, right?
I like what you called it, because
Yeah.
we're both fans of mid-century modern.
Right. So I called it mid-century sexy.
That's what it is, and we're sexy today. All right. So let's bring in Tammy. She's actually got a customer right now. Big special going on right now. Red velvet cookies until she's out of dough. So get your down here and get some red velvet cookies.
Red velvet.
Anyway, so that's what she was doing, just selling.
Red velvet.
Red velvet.
Scarlet.
Scarlet's the name of the cookie. So tell us about this whole naming thing. Let's start there.
Okay, so we used to be My Dough Girl, and we are no longer My Dough Girl. We relinquished our name to a very big company, and now we are called Ruby Snap. Now we're Ruby Snap, which is a World War II idea. The idea was we wanted to come up with a call name. What would your call name be if you were a female flyer in the 40s? And I had thought of Betty Bomber or Lily Tango, and for various reasons we couldn't use those names. So we took old names from the past and phrases and just kept pairing them until something came up that sounded like it was my personality. And red is our color, so Ruby is the color
We're
red.
both wearing red today, and ironically, she wore green.
I wore
She's got
green.
red hair. She does.
And red hair. So, and then the girl inside our logo, she gets a name, so now she can talk on social media. And Ruby has a voice to talk to our customers and friends. We call them our friends. And then Snap is just sassy, like my personality. And so I feel like I like the name better anyway.
It's a great name.
It is a great
So-
name. It snaps.
Yeah.
It's something snappy.
And I tried to stay away from food references, and after our trademark was approved, I realized it's kind of a play on Ginger Snap. But I didn't intend it that way at all. So,
That's cool. Yeah. So, and then your cookies have names too.
yes,
You like naming things.
I do. It's fun.
So tell us about the names on the cookies.
Okay, so the idea again was to celebrate a sense of yesteryear when food was still food, and our grandparents made cookies with butter and eggs and nothing artificial, and so and a sense of yesteryear when beauty was still beautiful without being naughty. So that whole World War II kind of feeling, you know, good food, simple beauty, and
Pure ingredients.
pure ingredients. So what was your original question?
The names, all your
Okay,
cookies.
so the names come from like if you were a pinup girl on a bomber plane, if you were the nose art. So that's where the pinup idea comes from, is the nose art on the airplanes. And then when we were My Dough Girl, our slogan was, "Who's your dough girl?" And so my dough girl is Margot, and yours might be Viviana, and yours might be Scarlett. And
You have an Enola Gay?
I don't have an Enola Gay, so it's just not very popular. Enola. So anyway, so that's where the naming came from. We name all of our doughs. So
So talk more we wanted to go, the show's about green. And this isn't necessarily like a green business, but you're doing things that are more, I guess, retro. I guess better for this too.
Yeah, so we use, our cookies are green for your body, which means they will, every ingredient that we have will dissolve in your body. And we don't use any hydrogenated oils, we don't use anything that is genetically altered. We use unbleached, non-bromated flour, we use whole, fresh, real eggs, which, believe it or not, a lot of people just use radiated eggs out of a carton. And we use cage-free eggs, and we use butter, no shortening, and we make all our doughs fresh daily, so everything is real and real good.
It is real good. Real good.
A lot of people say that maybe some of those things aren't good for you, like the eggs or the butter. We grew up at a time where we had margarine and maybe nothing was starting to react that way. All I have to say about that is people who are in World War II are still alive today. That's what they get.
Yeah, and there's no trans fats.
Right. So, do we have that longevity from growing up on these more artificial things that were supposed to be better for us? But back then, they ate steak and eggs and foods that we're told today are bad for us.
I actually have a theory that I think that's why we have a lot of new allergies. Suddenly everybody's gluten intolerant. Suddenly there's lots of autism. Suddenly there's tons of nut allergies.
Well, there's also, my first child is adopted. My wife's first baby was adopted. We're a second marriage. And because of that, I know lots of people with adoption as either their first or only way of getting children. That's, my theory falls right in there with that. I think there's a direct correlation between false foods we're eating. I have no scientific evidence here.
Well, I have no scientific evidence, but I think, when you want to not get a disease, you get vaccinated with the disease, right? So if you don't want to get an allergy, eat wheat, that's my theory. But eat wheat that wasn't covered with pesticides and highly processed into all bleached flour, and so I think you eat real foods and then your body accepts it and has the right antibodies to fight allergies and other things. Of course, it's totally non-scientific. That's my theory.
Science isn't exactly scientific either.
Yeah, it's scientific theory that's sold to us as fact.
Right.
In the Scientific American magazine. So there you go. I don't remember my next question.
Was it going to be about us eating a cookie? Because that's
why we're here.
Shall I go check?
Let's see if there's a scarlet.
Okay, I will go check.
Thanks. And of course, coming up it's too cold to see around. You got fans here watching us. Wow. I like your that's very exciting.
I do as well. Maybe you would be wearing this as you prepare a meal. Any more casual lunch? And of course, these people are available.
What kind of lunch bag?
These are available here. Yes. I'll say that again because they were on you might miss that.
These are wearing gloves too, but they're all in my nose.
Yeah, but gloves will make more crap hair fun. Oh, we got a station. Yeah, there. Those match both for optics. You want gloves that match with your...
And they match the red velvet cookies.
Look at those cookies.
Oh, boy, those are good. I got to tell you, my birthday's in February, and every February I have red velvet cake.
Really?
Yeah.
I did a red velvet cake for a wedding, and the customer called and said, "Can you make me a red velvet cake?" And I said, "I don't make cakes." And he said, "I don't care if you take 100 of your cookies and pile them together and call it a cake, I want it from you." So we did. We made him a cake. We made a cake, though.
Yeah.
So.
Food Network. This girl would be a blast. to do a reality
Now,
show
do you
on.
flavor these, or are they cake flavor? Or
So what red velvet is in theory, it's cocoa in the vanilla cake batter, and the cocoa reacts to the leavening, and that's what turns it red. But of course, it doesn't really get that red, and modern versions of cakes use food coloring. So we use all natural food coloring.
Of course.
And we use beet powder for Susie, which is our pink cookie. So try it.
Let's try this. Now, while we're trying these, talk about the special that you're doing right now.
Okay.
With these cookies, thanks to my wife and her love for these.
So our May cookie, which the idea is originally was Cinco de Mayo, but is a vanilla bean dough with a marzipan center with pears and pine nuts. And we just barely got our ingredients yesterday, so it's coming out of the oven shortly. And it's fun. It turns out it's more Italian than it is Latina. So
But that's your monthly cookie.
that's our monthly cookie. That's our February monthly cookie.
And you've got these until when?
Until today, until they sell out.
Until they're out of dough. So get down here.
Yeah.
I'm actually putting this
Kind
blog
of
up today.
Kind of a Mother's Day stuff, right?
Well, you know, if we accidentally on purpose make more, we'll probably have it for Mother's Day.
Yeah, accidentally on purpose.
So,
But this is amazing. I actually honestly did not hear anything you were saying about the other cookie. I didn't realize you were talking about these cookies until the very end. I heard the word
We're talking about
coconut.
this one.
so I was like Charlie
Yeah.
Brown. Wah, wah, wah,
Yeah,
wah.
because the
And all you
cookie,
heard was cookie, cookie, cookie.
cookie was so good, my brain shut off.
Oh, look at that.
Okay. Stagehand just got a cookie. Way to go,
What
world.
happened?
These are unbelievable.
Well, come on down to Ruby Snap and get yourself one.
Yeah.
All of these cookies back here, just reading them makes your mouth water. I want to have them all.
We're going to be introducing a coffee toffee. It'll have a Brazil nut on it, and we'll drizzle it in chocolate.
Does she have a
And
name?
Nina. Her name's Nina.
That's a good name for a
So-
coffee cookie.
Yeah. So I'll just put a little plug where our location is. Is that okay?
Oh, absolutely.
So,
And your website and your product feed, and we'll put all those in the
Okay.
show notes too.
okay. You can find us at rubysnap.com, and we have an online store. We ship in the continental U.S. and Canada, and you can find us on Facebook and Twitter. We do a lot of giveaways, concert giveaways, tickets, dinners, contests, and you can follow us on Twitter, and we're located at 770 South, 300 West.
One last thing we need to talk about.
In beautiful Salt Lake City, Utah.
Salt Lake City, Utah. The Twitter and Facebook thing. We're going to do a special for the next year. I don't think I've even told you about this. For the first episode of each month, we are going to give away a 4-pack of the monthly special. This is what a 4-pack looks like of the monthly special from Ruby Tuesday. Here's how you get in there. You have to be a fan of Ruby Tuesday on Facebook.
Or Ruby
Or
Snap.
having Ruby Snap. Where am I getting Ruby Tuesday from?
It's a dinner place.
Restaurant.
It is?
Yes.
And a song.
It is a song. I won't break into singing right now. Ruby Snap on Facebook, and also of RealGreenWorld on Facebook, also known as Mundo Verde Real, but you can't actually find that on Facebook. And once you're a fan of both of those, then post either a question on the RealGreenWorld page, or tell us about a business you think we should have on our show. One of those two. And at the end or somewhere inside of it, @tag Ruby Snap. You have to do both of those. And then everyone who's done that during the month,
Put in a drawing.
put in a drawing. We will draw that on the first show of each month. And you'll get a 4-pack. Somebody will get a 4-pack. So, fan us up. That's what this is all
Am I
about.
eligible?
Social media. No, you're not. Sorry. You got your free cookie. So,
We're going to do a real green meter?
we're going to do Real Green Meter. Here, grab that for a second. I got to put the cookie there.
Can we see this?
This is our Real Green Meter. And we're going to
Let's call this the real ingredients meter for today.
Real Green Ingredients Meter.
Hey. Ready?
Let's raise that up a little bit. What do you think?
We're slow.
You think? I think she's got it right on. She knows how green she is. Oh, we got someone from the peanut gallery saying even more green.
More green. All right. Push it up. There it goes.
There you go. Yeah, I think Ed Bagley would eat here.
Oh, yeah.
You bet.
So we want to do a little kind of walk around.
Or are we going to do closing?
We're doing closing now.
Okay.
We jump back up on it. Well, I want to thank you for coming to the show, letting us come down here, giving us some cookies.
Yep.
And again, everybody, come on down to Ruby Snap. Get yourself some cookies. You don't know what you're missing. Believe me. Tastes like 1948 in here.
And a little bit of heaven.
Yes.
A little bit of heaven. You want her cookies. That's your line.
You know you want my cookies.
That's right. That's your line. I love that line.
That's right.
Ok, esto es nuestro programa por hoy.
For this week.
Gracias.
Tenga un M&M verde.
I'd rather have a red velvet cookie. That reminds me, I hope this week's show got you more excited about doing something green for your wallet and the environment.
Muchas gracias por habernos mirado.
Buen provecho.
Real Green World.
Hasta la semana que viene.
When you look in your wallet,
Piensa de los árboles.
I'm Piper.
Y soy the Duce.
Me llamo Tammy.
And that's this week's Real Green World.
Mundo Verde Real.
All right, so let's do a
We're going to do the walk around.
walk around.
I only charge you for one.
Okay, so here we are. This is our peanut gallery. Thanks for coming, guys.
That was
You've never been on camera before. This is Adrian. He's our producer. Here's the rack, display rack. Got to check out these wonderful things. You got gum. I will. We'll get to the cookies. This is one of my favorite things in here is this Coca-Cola thing. This thing is way cool. Here's the menu up here.
Congratulations on all your success. Thank you.
Here's the cookies.
All right, thank you.
Good.
So, I think we have more red velvets just now coming out. They stole the first 2 dozen. They just came out.
This is the
Go check.
girl for this month's cookie, and here's a quick view of the kitchen. Thanks, Tammy, for letting us show the kitchen off.
Okay.
And that is Ruby Snap.